You don't want to look too manly, right? Such that you look scary.
Yeah.
You also don't want to look so womanly that you're like accidentally getting identified as a woman, right? That
Correct.
also wouldn't be good.
Yeah, I've noticed some actors in Hollywood getting lip filler.
Yeah.
And I'm like, don't do that.
And it feminizes their face
too
too much.
much.
Again,
Yes.
and it's good that you picked up on that because that is a trait that's associated with facial femininity, larger
Correct.
lips.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily work. You don't want to go too far in either direction. On bodies, it's different.
Okay.
So bodily masculinity is a very strong predictor of women's attraction to men.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not saying, oh, you don't want to look so manly because I have some kind of agenda. I really don't. I've just read that literature and said that looking manly from a facial perspective isn't that great.
Mm-hmm.
From a bodily perspective, it's definitely all it's cracked up to be. So having broader shoulders, narrower hips, bigger muscles, these are things that, at least up to a point, again, are responded to very positively by women. And this should be intuitive. Like, as a man, you wouldn't want to have like a tiny waist and wide hips and tiny shoulders.
And
right?
long legs.
Yeah, and long legs. Yeah, that's another example.
Mm-hmm.
Men do have longer torsos relative to their legs on average. And that's one question that I have about the leg lengthening surgeries is that, I mean, I hate even saying this because they've been through so much to get those long legs. Yeah. And maybe I'm negging them a little bit because I'm quite tall and I don't want height inflation to be a thing.
Yeah.
But objectively, having longer legs relative to your torso is a feminine look. Mm-hmm. And a lot of these guys, they finish the surgery and they look quite compressed in their torso and have, these lovely long legs, right?
Yeah,
and it's a very womanly look. So it's not necessarily, I'm sure that the height adds to their attractiveness to some extent.
Yeah.
But some of what they're adding at least is being taken away from based on them feminizing their proportions.
Yeah. Is that common, the leg lengthening?
Thank God it's not. Okay. No, it's a very rare procedure. It's a very expensive procedure.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where, look, as a man, there are things you can do to adjust your height, right? Mm-hmm. So let's say you're 5'6", right? As a man, if you were to get, a little more volume in the hair on top of your head, wear
Benny
boots.
Blanco.
Right. Yeah,
His
exactly.
Hair is big.
Yeah. And he's quite short.
Mm-hmm.
And so you do that and you wear some boots that will have, an inch and a half comfortably, right? You could get shoes that have 2 inches and still look relatively normal.
Mm-hmm.
And then you stand with good posture. On paper, you're 5'6", but in the bar, you're like 5'10", right? And that's just not a deal breaker for most women. On a dating app, it might be a deal breaker, but in the real world, most women are not tall enough to care. As long as you're taller than them, it's not going to be a huge deal in most cases.